God says, listen closely, my beloved soul. Not with fear in your heart, not with panic in your mind, but with stillness. The reason this moment feels different is because it is different. Out of all the noise around you, out of all the thoughts competing for your attention, this message found you because your spirit is ready to hear what your mind has been avoiding. You are not here by coincidence, and you are not late. You are exactly where you need to be, right now. For a long time, you have carried questions quietly. You did not speak them out loud, but you felt them late at night, when the world became silent and your thoughts became louder. You wondered if anyone truly saw your effort, if your patience mattered, if your waiting had meaning. God says, every silent question you carried was heard. Every moment you chose to endure instead of giving up was noticed. Nothing about your journey has been wasted. These 7 minutes are not about rushing you. They are about grounding you. God is not calling you to panic, but to pause. To breathe. To remember who you are beyond stress, beyond pressure, beyond expectations placed on you by others and even by yourself. You have been trying to hold everything together alone, and that weight has made you forget that you were never meant to carry it without guidance. God says, you are entering a season where clarity begins to replace confusion. Not all at once, not dramatically, but gently, like light entering a dark room one corner at a time. You do not need to force answers. You do not need to chase signs. What is meant for you is already aligning quietly, behind the scenes, in ways you cannot yet see but will soon understand. There is a reason your heart has been feeling sensitive lately. A reason old thoughts resurfaced. A reason you felt pulled to reflect instead of react. This is not weakness. This is awareness. Growth often begins when the soul becomes honest with itself. God says, allow this. Awareness. Do not fight it. It is preparing you for a calmer, more grounded version of yourself. You may feel like others are moving faster, achieving sooner, reaching milestones before you. But God says, your path is measured differently. What is being built in you requires depth, not speed. Strength, not shortcuts. When your time unfolds, it will feel stable, not rushed. Secure, not fragile. And you will understand why waiting was part of the blessing. Right now, you are being invited to release mental noise. To stop replaying conversations, mistakes, and imagined futures. God says, return to the present moment. This moment is safe. This moment is guided. You are not behind. You are being aligned. Let these words settle, not as a command, but as reassurance. You are supported even when you feel unsure. You are protected even when you feel exposed. And you are being guided even when the path ahead still looks unclear. This message does not end here. What comes next will deepen what you are beginning to feel now. God says, now that you have slowed your thoughts, let me speak to the part of you that feels tired but never says it out loud. You have learned how to stay strong so well that people assume you do not feel the weight anymore. But I see the moments when you sit quietly, staring without thinking, because your mind is full and empty at the same time. I see how you keep going, even when you are unsure why you are still trying. That persistence is not random. That strength did not come from nowhere. It was formed through moments you survived that others never noticed. There were times you felt overlooked, not because you lacked value, but because your purpose was never meant to be rushed or displayed too early. God says, some things are protected by delay. Some paths are hidden until the heart is ready to walk them without fear. What you interpreted as silence was actually preparation. What you thought was being ignored was actually being shaped. You have grown in ways that cannot be measured by achievements alone. You have learned restraint. You have learned discernment. You have learned how to sit with discomfort instead of running from it. These qualities are not loud, but they are powerful. They are the foundation for peace that does not collapse when circumstances change. God says, you are not meant to live in constant alert mode. You were not created to overthink every outcome or replay every decision. Your mind has been trying to protect you, but it has grown tired from doing a job it was never meant to do alone. This is why your spirit has been calling you inward, asking you to trust instead of calculate, to release instead of control. Right now, something subtle is shifting inside you. You may not be able to name it, but you can feel it. A loosening. A softening. A sense that not everything needs to be solved tonight. This is alignment. When the soul begins to rest, clarity follows naturally. You do not need to chase peace. Peace comes when you stop running from the present moment. God says, there are answers coming, but they will arrive quietly, not as sudden revelations, but as steady understanding. You will begin to notice that decisions feel lighter. That reactions soften. That your intuition becomes clearer without forcing it. This is what happens when you stop fighting your own process. You have been carrying expectations that were never yours to begin with. Comparisons that drained you. Timelines that pressured you. God says, release them now. They were never meant to guide you. Your journey is unfolding at a pace that honors your healing, not your ego. And that is why it will last. Even now, there are doors preparing to open that will feel natural, not overwhelming. Conversations that will bring relief instead of confusion. Opportunities that will meet you where you are, not demand you become someone else first. You do not need to rush toward them. They are already moving toward you. This part of the message is not meant to excite you. It is meant to stabilize you. To remind you that calm is not stagnation. Stillness is not failure. Rest is not weakness. It is wisdom recognizing when to pause before the next step. Stay with this feeling. Let it settle fully. What follows next will bring deeper reassurance and understanding. God says, there is something important you must understand about the season you are in right now. You are not standing at a dead end. You are standing at a quiet intersection where wisdom is being formed before direction is revealed. Many people mistake this stage for confusion, but it is actually refinement. This is the moment where distractions lose their power, where noise no longer excites you, and where surface-level desires begin to fade. That is not loss. That is alignment. You have reached a point where your soul is asking better questions, not louder ones. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" you are slowly beginning to ask, "What is this teaching me?" That shift alone changes everything. God says, growth is not always visible on the outside. Often, the deepest transformation happens when nothing dramatic seems to be happening at all. There were moments in your past when you reacted quickly, trusted easily, or gave more than you should have. You learned from those moments. Not through punishment, but through awareness. Now, you pause before committing. You observe before speaking. You listen before deciding. This is not hesitation. This is maturity. This is discernment forming quietly within you. God says, the reason certain things no longer satisfy you is because you have outgrown them. Conversations that once felt exciting now feel empty. Goals that once motivated you now feel misaligned. This does not mean you are lost. It means your inner compass has recalibrated. You are no longer moving toward what impresses others. You are moving toward what brings peace to your inner world. There is also something you need to release gently. The habit of carrying emotional weight alone. You have learned to be independent, but independence was never meant to mean isolation. Strength does not require silence. God says, you are allowed to rest without explaining yourself. You are allowed to pause without justifying it. You are allowed to choose calm over constant effort. Right now, you may feel a subtle pull to simplify. To clear space. To let go of mental clutter. This is not random. Your spirit is preparing room for clarity. When the inner environment becomes peaceful, guidance becomes unmistakable. You will notice that answers arrive naturally, often through intuition, calm realization, or a sudden sense of knowing that does not need proof. God says, do not fear the slowness of this moment. Slowness is protecting you from repeating old patterns. It is teaching you patience without frustration. Trust without anxiety. Presence without pressure. These qualities are not learned quickly, and that is why they are valuable. There is a version of you emerging that no longer needs external validation to feel secure. A version that does not rush to be understood. A version that knows when to speak and when silence is wiser. This version is calmer, clearer, and more grounded than you realize. And once this shift completes, you will notice that life begins responding to you differently. People will sense your steadiness. Situations will resolve with less resistance. Decisions will feel aligned instead of forced. This is not coincidence. This is the result of inner order replacing inner chaos. God says, when your inner world becomes stable, the outer world adjusts accordingly. Stay present in this moment. Do not rush ahead mentally. What is unfolding now is foundational. What comes next will feel lighter because of the work being done here. God says, now listen carefully, because this is the moment where everything you have felt, questioned, and silently endured begins to make sense. There are seasons when I speak loudly, and there are seasons when I work quietly. You are coming out of a quiet season now. Not because you forced change, but because you stayed faithful even when clarity was missing. That matters more than you know. You were never forgotten during the waiting. Every pause shaped your perception. Every delay strengthened your discernment. Every unanswered question refined your trust. God says, what you thought was stillness was actually preparation. I was teaching you how to hear truth without noise, how to recognize peace without excitement, and how to choose alignment over impulse. There is something shifting inside you that cannot be reversed. You are no longer drawn to chaos disguised as passion. You are no longer impressed by words without depth. You are no longer willing to trade your peace for temporary validation. This is not because you became colder. It is because you became wiser. And wisdom always looks like calm to those who are still chasing noise. God says, the next phase of your life will not demand that you prove yourself. It will invite you to be yourself. Opportunities will feel natural, not forced. Connections will feel safe, not draining. Decisions will feel clear, not confusing. This is the reward of inner alignment. When your heart and mind stop fighting each other, direction becomes effortless. You may notice that certain people, thoughts, or habits are quietly falling away. Do not resist this. Nothing real is being taken from you. Only what no longer matches your growth is being removed. God says, release does not mean loss. It means trust. And trust creates space for something better to arrive without struggle. There is also healing happening that you did not ask for directly, but needed deeply. Old emotional patterns are loosening. Old fears are losing authority. Old doubts are no longer convincing. You are learning to respond instead of react. To pause instead of panic. To breathe instead of rush. This inner stability will guide you more accurately than external advice ever could. God says, the clarity you seek is not coming from outside you. It is rising within you. Pay attention to the quiet confidence forming in your decisions. Notice how you no longer second-guess every step. Notice how your intuition feels calmer, not louder. That is how true guidance feels. It does not shout. It settles. As you move forward, do not measure your progress by speed. Measure it by peace. If your next step feels steady, it is right. If it feels forced, wait. You are no longer late. You are exactly where you need to be. Timing is not about urgency. It is about readiness. And you are ready in ways you were not before. God says, trust this process. Trust what is unfolding. Trust who you are becoming. The path ahead will not confuse you like before, because you are not the same person anymore. You have grown in awareness, patience, and faith. That growth will guide you even when details are not yet visible. This message reached you because your spirit was open, not because of chance. Stay present. Stay grounded. Stay aligned. What comes next will feel lighter, clearer, and more meaningful than what you left behind. If this message resonated with your heart, take a moment now. Like this video to acknowledge this season of clarity. Comment one word that describes what you are feeling right now. Share this with someone who may need calm guidance today. And subscribe to stay connected with messages that bring peace, clarity, and spiritual alignment.